Wolves of Grapenose Point by David Hopkins, with Peter Wickham and Heather Bell.
Cold night.
It always is here.
Oh, no, not always. Sometimes in summer the weather can be delightful.
Yeah, well, coming from...
Norway.
Yeah, but north, isn't it? I mean, it means you're used to it.
Oh, no. It's not always so damp.
Uh-huh. You been here before, have you?
Grapenose Point. Oh, yes. Whenever I have a few days off, I always come here. I like the quiet after the rig.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. But, my friend, next time I think I'll look for brighter lights.
Not a lot of them in Scotland.
Yeah, so they tell me. Well, let's face it, oil rig's just a way of making a few bucks quick.
True, that is true.
You certainly don't do it for the laughs. Hey, look, there's another thing about this place. I don't know about you, Landstrom, but I get the distinct feeling we're not exactly welcome.
Oh, it's not that.
Then what is it?
This is a small, isolated community.
Say that again.
I can understand, perhaps. A way of life is being threatened by us by the oil rigs.
There's just a few of us coming here for a rest, that's all.
True. But they just say to themselves, this is just the start, the beginning.
Oh, yeah, maybe, but... Listen, what's that? What? Listen. What is that?
Sounds like... If I didn't know better, I heard them in Finland. But you know, I'd say that it sounds like a wolf.
Yeah. Hello, darling.
Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. I've been working.
Coming along well?
Bloody.
Oh, sorry I spoke.
Oh, it's par for the course roundabout now.
So they tell me. What's for dinner?
Thought you were doing it today.
I've had a hard day, woman, earning our living.
It's all ready to serve up. Go and put your feet up and have a drink, you great fat chauvinist pig.
That's better. Sounds more like my dutiful wife.
How many potatoes?
All that's going.
Your waistline, Jeff.
All that's going.
Well, don't blame me if I leave you. I like my men lean and cadaverous.
Well, that describes all the fellas in your novels. A man could get paranoid, you know.
So many cars?
2.
Oh, well, that's...
Terrible.
I wasn't going to say that.
It is. Some guys manage 6 or 7 a day. Well, then, some guys are ambitious. Anyway, when you become a famous writer, I'll give up and live a life of luxury on your ill-gotten gains.
You'll be more than welcome.
Speaking of which, how's it going?
Why do I always get stuck on the 3rd chapter? I had a chat with Leslie about it. He said that every writer on their list has a sticking point somewhere.
Oh, there you are. Is he pleased?
Oh, he says we should manage a couple of 1,000 sales. Which isn't bad for a first novel.
Oh, it sounds a lot.
Not compared with your mate.
Well, Ralph's a potboiler, isn't he?
Well, a bit of that wouldn't be too bad, would it? Could buy our yacht and spend the rest of our lives swanning about the Bahamas.
Or building our cottage at Grapenose Point.
Is that a tax haven, too?
Not that I know of. Perhaps if Scotland gets independence, who knows?
You always get the same look.
Hmm?
Whenever you talk about Grapenose Point.
Ah, well. For a lad brought up in the suburbs of London, summers there. Oh. You know, it's funny.
What?
Sometimes, standing in that bloody showroom, all the traffic and the noise and the people, it's very hard to realise that at that precise moment of time, up there on the point, life is serene and quiet and relaxed. Is there another potato?
Morning, Mr. Garrett.
Morning to you, Willie. Those shells come in yet?
Yesterday.
Good, I'll take them now.
Right you are.
Mr. Garrett, good morning.
Mrs. Humphreys?
Come for the shells, is it?
Yes?
I was saying to Willie, you're using a lot.
Ada.
Oh, no offence, Mr. Garrett.
None taken. When you're teaching someone to shoot, you should do it properly.
Oh, I agree there. It just
Here
seems
they are,
that...
Mr. Garrett. Shall I charge them?
If you would. Thank you, Willie.
How is young James?
Very well, thank you.
I saw him out yesterday with the gun.
He's becoming very proficient. Not a lot of grown men can outshoot him on the range.
So we hear tell.
As I said, practice makes perfect. Well, thank you again. Goodbye to you both.
You shouldn't talk to him like that.
Why on earth not? He's a man like the rest of us. We don't tip our hats to the laird these days.
He's not
People
the laird.
treat him as if he is, and he stalks around as if he is. Buying the big house doesn't make him anything, you know.
I didn't say it did.
And teaching his son to shoot 12 years old.
I can't be doing with that myself.
Then you should say, a boy of 12.
None of my business.
Ah, hi there.
Oh, good day to you.
I want some writing paper. Do you carry it?
Of course. A line?
No, rather not. My name is Kyle Johnson.
How
do you do?
Nice to meet you.
We haven't seen you about before, Mr. Johnson. On one of the rigs, are you?
Yep. First couple of days furlough I've had. Been staying at your public house.
Not what you're used to, I imagine.
Well, it's different, lady. I'll tell you that. Well, you must get used to it.
To what?
The quiet, the solitude.
It's not that quiet. Especially now we're getting people off the rigs.
Does that bother you? It does.
Look, Mr. Johnson, it says Mr. Garrett
Oh,
says...
yeah, he's the big guy around here, right?
Of course not. He just bought the big house, that's all. Your writing paper.
Thank you. Hey, look, something I'd like to ask. That meeting tonight. I've seen the posters up for it. I mean, is that for real?
Aye.
Well, this is 1979. Those sort of things just don't happen.
A lot of things happen.
Yeah, but
A lot of things, Mr. Johnson.
Now, look here, young man. That sort of chat doesn't impress me.
I can see that, sir.
I just want to know about the car. No salesman's frills, thank you very much.
I thought that's what I was doing, sir.
Well, I just want to go around and look at what else you have. On my own.
Right, sir. Any help you need?
Yes, well, I'll let you know.
Fine. Get stuffed. Oh, hell. This I don't need.
I'm looking for an ocean-going 10-speed Mini.
I beg your pardon?
Or a mountain-climbing Rolls-Royce. Thinking of going up Everest. Must have comfort.
Ralph!
Hello, fella.
Ralph Davis, how are you? Great to see you.
Yes, isn't it?
What the hell are you doing here? I'd have thought the Inland Revenue would be waiting on every quayside, every airfield, ready to pounce.
Oh, I'm allowed 30 days a year. So how better to spend some of it than by looking you up?
Well, it's nice. You know, we were only talking about you last night.
Yeah, really? Oh, how is Liz?
Marvellous.
Successful?
Oh, very. Well, not in your terms, mind, but...
Yeah, I know. Hasn't sold out for money and a yacht and lousy reviews. Yeah, Liz doesn't approve of me, eh?
Well, not so as you'd notice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we weren't talking about you.
Well, you just said...
No, your name came up. It was Grapenose Point, remember?
You were talking about Grapenose Point. Well, how's that for a cue for a song?
Pardon?
Look, when are you free?
1 o'clock.
Tell us the name of a good pub. Buy your lunch. This is what I miss, a pint of English beer. Nothing like it.
Is that all you miss?
Well, a few other things, but not a lot that ostentatious wealth can't cure.
How many is it now?
Books? 6. Everyone bestsellers. 4 sold for films. $1 million events on the next one.
All right.
Better than flogging cars, eh?
Oh, all right, Ralph. A bit below the belt.
Oh, not at all, mate. As you shall see. Because, Geoffrey fella, I've got a proposition for you.
Oh?
One I think you're going to like. Tell me about Grapenose Point.
What?
Been back since we were kids?
Yeah, 6, 7 years ago.
And?
Well, it hasn't changed, if that's what you mean.
So I hear. Same wildness, same long walks around the cliffs, and the sea, and the lobster pots, and the wind, and the stone cottages, and the families who've lived there and nowhere else for 1,000 years. You still feel the same about it?
Sometimes, in the innermost parts of myself, there's a yearning. Get away. Live up there, away from the traffic and rushing and selling cars. When I say sometimes, I mean most of the time.
On your way, then.
What?
How would you like to live there?
I don't think I...
Live there? My English is still English, isn't it? I'd like you to go up and manage my island.
Your island?
That's right. You're looking at the owner of Grapenose Point.
Bloody hell.
How true. How succinctly put.
How the hell can you own it?
Because I'm stinking rich.
No, I don't mean that. I mean...
You know the island was owned by Old Man Sangster.
Yeah. Well, I remember the name. People talked about it.
Yeah, well, he hadn't been there in donkey's years, of course. Lived in South Africa. Collected the rents, the revenues.
Are there
Oh, no, not a lot. Well, some. But the outgoings threatened to get more and more, so he decided to sell out. Luckily, I saw the ad in a real estate newspaper. Lots of them over there.
So I hear.
Don't get snooty with me. I'm the man who's offering you a dream, don't forget. Anyway, as soon as I saw that, I leapt in. Well, my lawyers leapt in, and I bought it.
Just like that?
Just like that. No, I can't live there because of tax, but one day, who knows. Meanwhile, I need someone to manage it for me.
Me?
You are very quick on the uptake. You see, I want someone who loves the place as much as me. Won't allow it to get spoiled. Will be honest when he tells me what needs spending. Will look after the place as if it was me. Well?
I'll have to think about it.
Think about it? What's to think? I'll pay you a salary?
I'll have to discuss it with Liz.
Oh, she'll love it. All the time in the world. No pressure. She can ride every hour that God sends.
That's true. That's true.
So?
I'll still have to talk it over with her. But Ralph... Grapenose Point.
Good evening, Mr. Johnston.
Oh, hi, Jake. Nice evening.
It is. Enjoying your stay?
Yeah, thanks to the ministrations of mine host.
Thank you.
You going to the meeting?
That I am.
I'll walk along with you.
You going?
There's not a lot to do in the evenings around here.
No. I don't wish to be rude, but I think it's just for the local inhabitants.
I said public meeting on the posters.
Mr. Garrett seems
Mr. Garrett, does he run this island?
No, of course not.
Well, what is he then? Like one of the big boss cattle barons in the Old West? Buys a huge spread, and before you know where you are, he runs the whole country? Is that it?
Could we have some order, please? Friends? Now, we all know why this meeting has been called, so without further ado, I'll ask the Reverend Barkworth to make some opening comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know me as a man of God. A man who doesn't mince words. A man who says what he thinks has to be said. Many of you have approached me fearfully about what has been happening over the past few weeks. But I say there is nothing to fear. Trust in God.
We've always done that, sir, and look what's happened.
Trust in God and his way. Know that this is his will, as it was in the past, and as it will be in the future.
But what do we do about them?
Nothing. If God has so chosen to send wolves back to Grapenose Point, then that is what we must accept. And I'll tell you why. Back in time, 2 centuries ago now, Grapenose Point was, if you like, a sanctuary, a last refuge for the wolves. Here, long after they were rendered extinct elsewhere on the British Isles. You all know that at one time they were worshipped. Sheep, goats left out for them as a sacrifice.
Yeah, superstitious rubbish.
I won't agree or disagree with that sentiment. But what I will say is that God, in his infinite wisdom, has chosen this island from time immemorial as a haven for these, his creatures. And it is not for us to dissent.
Reverend Barkworth.
Yes, Jake?
What do we do about them?
I thought I'd answered that.
Well, not quite, sir. God surely didn't intend for us not to defend ourselves against them.
That's true.
Well, I say get in experts, someone from outside.
No. The Reverend Barkworth is right. I don't pretend to be a religious man, but we've only got to look at the past to know that there is a destiny for this island, and that destiny is tied in with the wolves.
But in the past, the islanders killed them.
Did they? That we don't know.
Mr. Garrett, we need you to tell us what to do.
Get in experts, I say.
And I say no. Can you imagine what would happen to this island and the life that we know and cherish if the outside world heard about this? Is that what you want to happen? Newspapers, television, sightseers. If this is any sort of sign from the past, and I don't know any more than you, but if it is, then it's telling us that we should go back to the simple ways of our forefathers. Lock our doors at night. Stay with our families. Don't venture too far off the beaten track. As the Reverend Barker says, that, and the loss of a few animals, is a small price to pay for preserving this one small island of sanity.
What was good enough for the God-fearing men of the past is good enough for us.
It's a hell of a step, Jeff.
Agreed. But think about it, love. Just from your point of view. Quiet, tranquility, writing away to your heart's content.
It's what you want, isn't it?
Paid? To live up there? No more flogging cars in my neat lounge suit. Yes, that's what I want.
It sounds marvellous.
Well, then...
Yes, darling. Yes.
Sure?
Sure.
Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl.
You don't believe all that, do you?
Not all of it, no.
Not all of it. He's talking as if we were back in the Middle Ages.
Is he, Mr. Johnson?
Things don't change because the world goes on. Do you believe in God?
Well...
No, a superior being, Mr. Johnson. Something or someone that controls our lives. Well, our destiny.
I guess everyone believes in something like that.
Well, then.
Yeah, but what they were talking about back there was...
There was a reason for Grapenose Point being the last place in the British Isles to have wolves. And there's a reason for them coming back now.
We don't know for certain that they ever went.
But 200 years? Now, come on, Mr. Humphreys. Look, if there are wolves here, there must...
Oh, they're here.
Well, then experts should be brought in. The outside world should be told, informed.
There.
I beg your pardon?
You've been here how long?
A couple of days.
And already you talk of the outside world, you see.
No, I don't.
This place is different. Call in outsiders and what happens? A 7 days wonder. The world at our doorstep. Everything distorted and altered.
Yeah, but at least experts would find out...
There you are.
Well, that could be anything.
Could it, Mr. Johnson? Come on, Willie. Let's get home.
Okay, just coming.
Mr. Chambers.
Yes?
I thought I recognized you. Can I come in?
Yes, of course. I know you.
Angus McCrindle.
Of course. Come in. You're the...
where?
The blacksmith on Grapenose Point. Talk of the devil. You know, this really is a coincidence.
How do you mean, sir?
Oh, I'll tell you. Look, come on in.
Oh, thank you.
Darling, this is Angus McCrindle.
Oh, hello.
Mr. McCrindle, well, Ralph and I, when we were kids, used to watch him working in his forge.
Stand for hours, you did.
Yes, just watching. The bellows, the sparks, leather apron, working in this sort of cavern.
A shed, that's all it
Oh,
was.
to us kids, magic. Are you on holiday?
No, I left some while ago.
Left?
I was made a good offer for the house.
Who by?
Oh, outsiders. Quite a few of them there now.
Did you want to leave?
Not really, but Jenny, well, she has always hankered for, you know...
Bright lights.
More or less. So here we are.
How did you know that Jeff was here?
I have got something to give you.
Give me?
It came through the post. Asked to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be handed to you, you see. Given into your hand.
I don't quite understand.
Here you are, Mr. Chambers.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you will be happy when you go there. I am sure that you will be.
Yes.
Goodbye, Mr. Chambers.
But... Oh.
How odd.
Yes. Yes, very.
Open it.
Right, yeah.
Well, what is it?
It'll be from Ralph. A good luck present.
Yeah, but what is it?
A little carved wolf's head.
Well, here's luck to you all.
Cheers.
Cheers. Away tomorrow, are you?
Yep.
Back to the rig?
Ah, Mr. Garrett, yes, back to work. Back to the grind?
Oh, me too.
Back to earning your fortunes.
Yeah, we earn it.
Oh, yes, the work is hard.
I'll say it is.
Well, I'm off to the hay. Breakfast in the morning?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Ah, great. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
You coming, Ralph?
Yes. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Nice enough, fellows. Funny, isn't it?
Was there?
How used we are to foreigners here. There was a time...
That's what the oil does for us, Lesser. And slowly things are changing. Who knows what will be happening this time next year? Or the year after that? That's worth thinking about.
Aye. Look, Mr. Garrett, this new fella.
Yes?
This fella who's bought the place.
Ralph Davis.
Aye. Writer, isn't he?
What about him?
Just heard stories about him coming here, changing the place.
Rumours. It'll be the same as it was with old man Sangster.
We never saw him.
Left us completely alone.
It'll be the same with Davis. Exactly.
How do you know?
He's got to leave us alone. He's so rich that he has to live abroad.
All wrong, that. People should pay their taxes like the rest of us.
Aye. It works well for us, though, in this case.
Yes. But I heard someone was coming.
That's right. A manager.
You could stop that, Mr. Garrett. I mean, people take notice of you.
Nothing to worry about. He'll leave us alone.
How can you be sure?
He will, don't worry. It's been seen to.
All right.
Bit windy.
It is, isn't it?
This is the only way to get to the island.
No, I told you. There's the causeway.
That's what I thought. So why...
Ah, it's the tide, love. The causeway, all 2 miles of it, it's only crossable for an hour or so either side of low tide. Otherwise, you've had it.
Ooh, can't you wade across?
Oh, no way. It's the way it comes in so quickly, violently. 1 minute you're walking along, and 5 minutes later, or so it seems, the water's over your knees, rising just as quick. And it's a strange current, vicious, swirling.
Do people get caught?
Oh, yeah, even locals.
What happens then?
Drown if they're caught, even good swimmers. That's why they built the towers.
Oh, towers?
Sort of boxes on steel legs, about every quarter of a mile. You can climb up them if you're trapped. If you can get to them, climb up and spend the next 5 hours freezing, sometimes washed over by the waves. Ah, at least you're safe.
Blimey.
Exactly.
Has it happened to you?
Good God, no. Never take that sort of chance. Everyone, if they've any sense, carries little daily tide charts which they consult before attempting to cross. And they are also stuck up on the boards at either end of the causeway.
What?
No. Just talking about it, Liz. Memories. I'm really looking forward, you know.
So am I.
No. Part of what I'm looking forward to is showing you the places where we went to, Ralph and I, when we were boys. We used to walk down to the point, the actual end of Grapenose, if you like. Nothing but the North Sea ahead of you. And the seas came rushing in and crashed, and great spumes of spray. And there was just the odd fisherman's hut and piles of tarred lobster pots. Then we'd go fishing for crabs in the rock pools and walk back to the tiny
Sounds
village.
better than flogging cars.
Oh, it is a bit.
Jeff, why a wolf's head?
What?
That thing you were given.
Oh, that. Well, it sounds silly, but wolves are very much part of the folklore of the place. Almost a religious intensity, if you like. You see, Grapenose Point was their last sanctuary, centuries ago.
Oh.
When they vanished from every other part of the country, they lasted there for a long while. I mean, the place is isolated now, but in those days, not. Somehow they were driven there and stayed there. When they went, how long they stayed, I don't know. It's all shrouded in great mystery. No one really knows. In fact, some of the old people used to talk about them as if they were still there.
Honestly?
Sort of waiting, hibernating. I don't know, in the rocky, secret places.
Waiting for what?
I don't know. The way they talk about them, it's almost as if they protected the island.
Protected it? Against what?
Outsiders, I suppose.
People like us.
Yes, people like us.
Nice to see you here, Mr. Garrett.
Not much of a churchgoer myself.
Not all of us can concern ourselves with the spiritual.
No. Very old, is it? This church?
Oh, yes. Parts of it lost in time.
What must it have been like then? Here,
The island, the community.
Better. No questioning of accepted values. No denying authority.
A lot to be said for it.
Everything to be said for it.
Yes. Don't I know it? When things are thrown back in your face, Mr. Barkworth. Years of knowledge, of experience.
Yes?
I had a lot to offer, but they didn't want to know.
Quite a common experience.
Even here, I see.
Hmm?
The wolves. Up there instead of gargoyles.
Oh, yes. Those heads have looked down on many centuries of worshippers.
What do you make of it? Reincarnation, do you suppose? There all the time, perhaps?
Irrelevant question. Whatever God decides.
Yes, of course.
That is a certainty. That is a truth. Don't expect you to be...
Oh, but I do. Part of it. I believe in, how shall I put it, the leading of the flock.
They all need that. However modern and liberated they feel. Even the new people, the ones who have moved into the village over the past couple of years, need that.
That's true.
Mr. Garrett, I minister to their spiritual needs. Their needs to have someone to follow. And you, their secular needs.
You think so?
You are the incumbent of the big house. You own the grounds. You took over. Just as if...
Another priest took over from you.
Precisely. That's what this place needs. And if the wolves are here to preserve that order of things...
I'm glad we agree.
Oh,
all right. That's it.
Mr. Chambers?
Yes, that... Hello.
Hello.
Remember me?
I don't know if
Used to buy sweets at your shop. You're Willie Humphreys, aren't you?
That's right. So you're not a stranger, then?
My grandfather lived here. Same name, Chambers.
Of course. George Chambers. And you were the young lad who used to come in...
That's right.
Well, well. Not a stranger, eh? That's a relief.
Oh, sorry. This is my wife, Liz.
How do you do?
Hello.
I was asked to come and meet you.
Asked?
Oh.
By whom?
Mr. Carrot. Well, as he said, you are the Governor-General after all.
Hey?
In the manner of speaking.
I see what you mean.
Long as you don't suspend our Constitution. Right then. I'll just take you up to your house. I think you'll like it.
Governor General.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Don't you start getting above your station
Don't you fancy being the governor's wife?
and lording it over state banquets. No, I can do without that. Hey, it's a nice house.
Not bad, is it? Must find a place for you to work.
Oh, I've already done that. That room at the top overlooking the bay.
Glad you came.
Give me a chance. Yes, darling, I'm glad I came.
Look, are you happy?
I've just told you.
No. What I mean is, do you mind unpacking while I...
No, go on, have a look round.
Won't be long.
Right, and don't drink too much.
Pint, please.
Yes, sir. You're Mr. Chambers.
Jeff, yes.
The fellow who's sort of managing the place.
Sort of, yes. And you're Jake Lesser.
Yeah. How did you know that?
I used to come here when I was a kid.
In here?
No, I wasn't that precocious. To the island.
Did you now? Oh, here you are.
Thanks. And you?
Oh, I'll join you in a pint, thank you.
Good. In a way, it's like coming home. That sort of feeling. You know what I mean? I've just been walking around.
Walking around? Where?
Oh, just the village.
Not further off.
This time of night, no. But it's amazing, isn't it? How nothing changes.
Some things do. Usual, Jake.
Hello.
Oh, hello, sir.
You're Tom Lewis.
Do I know you?
Years ago, when I was a little boy. I'm Jeff Chambers.
The fellow who's come to lord it over us, Tom.
No such thing. Just making sure that life ticks over.
As long as things don't get changed. Here you are, Tom.
Thanks. Not that much more could change.
Tom exaggerates.
When 13 of the old families have gone in 18 months.
Tell me about it.
Not a lot to tell.
Some of the old families have moved out. New people moved in, that's all. But the funny thing, every time it was quick. Hardly time to say goodbye.
Like Angus McCrindle, you mean?
Exactly.
How did you know?
Oh, saw him in London.
Anyway, see what I mean?
Brought me a little present.
Oh, eh?
The wolf's head.
The wolf's head, but that's...
Once, Tom, yes. No, it was just a going-away present from Ralph. That's what I reckon.
Anyone going to buy a lady a drink?
Oh, Liz, come on in, join us.
Well, if the mountain won't come
Sorry.
got talking. Come on, I'll introduce you. It's marvellous, isn't it? Just the sky and the sea.
It's not always going to be like this.
What?
It's going to be dull and drizzly
You
and...
are talking to a veteran.
Jeff, I think it's going to be lovely. Do you remember when you were in the showroom, all the traffic and noise and fumes, how it was impossible to believe that at that moment Grapenose Point existed?
Yes.
Well, it's the other way round now, isn't it? It's impossible to believe that...
What?
Listen.
Come on, love. Let's get back. It's just at the top of the street there, by the church.
What was this man?
Duncan Hay? Oh, great guy. Fisherman. Used to spend hours together in talking about the island and its history. He'll tell you more about this place than I could.
I'm already beginning to know a lot.
And you like it, in spite of the wolves.
Seems silly now, doesn't it? In the morning?
Does a bit.
We didn't really hear that last night, did we?
Our imagination plays lots of tricks in a place like this, especially when you've got the superstitions to begin with. It could have been the wind or a dog, gulls calling.
This it?
Yes. We used to sit on that stone wall, watch the world go by.
Yes?
Oh, sorry. I'm looking for Mr. Hay, Duncan Hay.
I don't think I
He
can...
lives here.
Well, I'm afraid that's... Ah, that will be the fellow who was here before.
Before?
My name is Edwards, Howard Edwards. I'm the new owner.
I don't believe it.
I can assure
Duncan.
you...
Well, where can I find him?
Don't ask me, Squire. I made an offer for the place. He accepted, moved out and left.
Are you sure?
Yes, Mr. Chambers, I'm sure.
You know me.
Let's say I guessed.
Look, I just don't believe that Duncan would ever
Things
have sold...
change, don't they? Well, if you'll excuse me.
Just a minute,
Charming.
Don't believe it. Come on, love.
Come on, you little beauty. Come on. Next time.
That looked a great wood, Tom.
Oh, I looked it till it got there. Then it broke too soon. The game's not over yet, so?
No.
Well, like I told you, Mr. Chambers, Duncan was one of them. One of the ones that's left. Sold his cottage and went.
I just don't believe it. Oh. Grapenose Point was his life.
Oh, isn't now, is it? Don't worry. We'll survive with or without them.
Well, people have got the right to move.
Aye, especially when they're offered a good price.
Tom, press in.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Chambers.
Yes, of course.
Well, there you are.
No, Liz, never. Not Duncan Hay.
It's a long time, Jeff. People do change.
Not him. His life was this island. If everyone else left, he'd have gone on living here. On his own. I know that. Something's going on, and I'm going to find out what it is.
Jeff, you were going to show me this island. Today was for exploring.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, my love. All right.
Oh, this is magnificent!
Isn't it? A couple of miles of sea crashing in.
It's so wild and desolate.
Yes, that's what's so exciting. Used to spend hours walking about and never see anyone. Ralph and I used to walk right round the island every time we came. Doesn't sound much, but it was quite an adventure. Sandwiches, a flask in a haversack, and off we go for the day. The funny thing, it's a small island, but so different. Over on the other side is towering cliffs and huge caves underneath that the waves have hewn out. And this side is rocks and bays and huge slants sticking out into the sea.
Whoa! Look at that wave!
Oh, you should see it when it's really rough. That's the North Sea for you.
Those men on the oil rigs, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough life. Earn their money all right.
You can say that again.
Come on, there's a little cove round the next headland. You'll be surprised. A little, gentle, sandy cove. It's where the pirates and the smugglers used to come in.
Really?
Oh, yeah, lots of them. Come on. So, what do you think? Good God, what is it?
It looks like a huge hangar.
It's right in the centre of the beach. And what are those pylon things round the edges, stuck up on the rocks?
They look like floodlights.
Yeah. Oh, who said the place hadn't been spoiled?
Jeff, it couldn't stay exactly the same.
No, but that's awful. It's terrible. Let's have a look. It looks worse close to.
What is it?
God knows. There's no way in. Can you see a door?
No.
Well, let's go round to the seaward side. It is a hangar. Look, there's huge sliding doors.
But what for?
Well, there's one way of finding out.
Jeff.
This is Ralph's island. I'm looking after things for him, right?
Yes, but you don't know what this is.
All the more reason for finding out. Ha! There's a smaller door in that sliding one. Good God!
What is it, Jeff?
It looks like an oil rig.
It does, doesn't it?
Not whole. It's a couple of legs, half the platform.
I don't understand.
Oh, nor me.
Can I help you, Mr. Chambers?
Oh, it's,
Howard Edwards, remember?
Oh, yes. Yes, this morning.
Can I help you?
Yes, actually, I think you can.
What are you doing here?
What exactly do you mean?
Didn't you see the sign?
No.
Well, it's big enough.
All right, Teddy.
Huh?
You, really shouldn't be here, you know, Mr. Chambers?
What do you mean?
Like I said, can't you read?
Who the hell are you?
Jeff, be careful.
I'd listen to the lady if I were you.
Who are you?
That's got nothing to do with you.
It has, Teddy. This is Jeff Chambers.
Huh? Oh, the snooper.
This is Teddy Mason, one of our neighbours.
Oh, I see. And who did you buy out?
Don't take that tone with me, son.
All right. What's the problem?
No problem, Mr. Garrett.
Found them snooping.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Neither would I.
I think we'd better...
Perhaps you'll tell me what the hell's going on. And why you and Billy the Kid here have guns.
Billy the... Oh, I should introduce myself. James Garrett.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Ralph told me about you.
All good, I hope?
Mainly.
Well, that's nice. I had intended to come and introduce myself soon. Anyway, now I've done it. Oh, and this is my son, Jamie. Say hello.
Hello. Hello.
And the guns. You'll want to know about the guns.
Please.
Very simple. We've been out on the range, that's all.
Range?
Earth's going on around here.
Just a hobby of ours. Now, about this place, this hangar. Sorry you didn't know. Weren't warned. Now, this rig...
This mock-up?
Yes, it's used for initial training for men working on the rigs. It floats out in the bay. It's very basic, simple training, but necessary.
All right. But why the secrecy?
No secrecy, Mr. Chambers. The government have asked us to keep an eye on it, that's all. Make sure it doesn't get damaged. Edwards and Mason were a bit overzealous.
Yes.
We don't get many people out this way these days. Anyway, I'm sorry. Look, why don't you and Mrs. Chambers come out to the house? We'll talk about it. Give you a drink,
Oh, a drink sounds very nice.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Right. Scotch all right for you?
Yes, that'll be fine, thank you. I was just looking at... this place is amazing, isn't it?
Yes, quite amazing. Mrs. Chambers?
Liz, please.
Oh, yes. Call me Jeff.
Right. Same for you, Liz.
Please.
How old is it, do you know?
Difficult to tell, but parts of it must be getting on for 1,000 years. But each laird over the years added to it, built a bit here, a bit there.
It's magnificent.
Yes, it is. Here you are.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
What was it originally?
Not sure. It was a symbol of authority.
Total, from what I gathered.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Strange place, Grapenose Point, Mr...
Jeff. Yes, I know.
Of course, you know it quite well. Better, perhaps, than me.
Yes, but this place, in those days, was locked up, shuttered.
Anyway, as I was saying, Grapenose Point. Strange place. Small, but almost feudal. How can one say it? Almost a kingdom. In the old days...
Days of the wolves.
If you like. The laird was like a king. An emperor. Munificent, I suppose. Controlled this island, took tithes, handed out justice. Lot to be said for it.
Do you think so?
Don't you?
That depends entirely, I'd have thought, on who's dispensing the justice.
A lot of people on this island certainly think so, that I can tell you. Anyway, let me show you the throne room.
The what?
You're joking.
Yes, I am. But nonetheless, that's what it is.
My God. Impressive, eh?
It's like a miniature throne room, yes.
It's in such a marvellous state of repair.
Isn't it?
Almost as if it's in use now. Is that a real throne?
Well, as much as anything can be. It's the authority it exudes that counts, not the actual chair.
And this has authority?
Had, Mr. Chambers. And that was symbolised, so I'm led to believe, by that footstool.
Like the stern of Scone.
Exactly. That was the authority. This is where the local disputes used to be settled. Petitions presented, justice dispensed.
The laird sitting in the throne, feet up on the footstool.
Those portraits and coats of arms?
All previous lairds of the island.
There's so many of them.
Grapenose Point is small, but its history is long. And, so it seems, perpetuating.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for one, the wolves coming back.
Can you say that again?
Didn't you know?
Jeff, last night.
Do you believe that?
I honestly don't know. I can't pretend to go along with Barkworth and his wrath of God theory, but it's odd, isn't it? Strange.
Has anyone seen them?
Oh, yes. Quite a few. I have.
Have you?
But not silhouetted against the skylines, baying at the moon, no. Most of the horizon here is sea anyway, but yes, I've seen... what? Glimpses. Movement in the trees, eyes staring.
Ooh.
I don't know, it sounds over-imaginative to say the least, doesn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Yes, it does. I believe they're there. I can't say any more. What to do about them? Again, I don't know. But I certainly go along with the general feeling of the island. And that is that we don't want outsiders in. We don't want the world in, gawping and advising. The wolves protected Grapenose Point, and Grapenose Point protected the wolves.
You seem to know a lot about it.
Yes. Haven't you noticed? Look, that portrait. The one up there. The last laird of the big house. My great-great-grandfather. I have returned to my inheritance, Mr. Chambers.
How about that, then?
Like going back to the Middle Ages.
Yeah, exactly.
I expected to hear thundering hooves outside, and a knight come striding in.
Oh, I see. No, I meant about the wolves.
Yes, and after last night, too. What do you think?
I don't know, love. The whole thing
I'll
just...
tell you one thing. I do agree with him.
About what?
Well, I don't know what it all means, but whatever it is, I think it must stay here. That pride of place, of history, of roots, is very exciting. A dynasty in miniature.
Hasn't taken you long to get immersed in the place.
No. Jeff, something else. Did you smell...
Yes, I did.
It wasn't my imagination, then.
Oh, I thought it was mine. There definitely was a smell, wasn't there? Like the doghouse in the zoo. I wouldn't mind a cup of tea.
Nor me. I'll put the... What?
Quiet. It's the kitchen. Someone's in there.
Huh. Was in here, I should have said.
Look, through the window. They're just climbing the wall.
Well, well. Hey. Left the second we went up to the big house with Garrett.
What do they want?
I don't know. Just checking us out would be my guess. Liz, I'll have that cup of tea later on.
Where are you off to?
Just for a little chat. Won't be long.
We're not open, you know.
I know that, Jake. I need to talk to you. Look, you're not a fool. What the hell is going on here?
Going on?
Well, for starters, what do you think of... Oh, look. Can I have a beer?
It'll have to be on the house. We're close.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'll buy you one tonight.
Right. What are you on about?
I'm not sure. What do you think of Garrett?
Think of him?
I mean, that house he lives in.
We've got to live somewhere.
But that throne room.
Look, Jeff. So, all right, you know Grapenose Point as well as any outsider. But I'm born and bred here. It's special. Your beer.
Yeah, yeah, I know that, Jake.
I can't compare it with anywhere else, really. Never been many places. But look, Mr. Garrett lives in the big house. He's taken over the leadership of the island. He's a descendant of the...
You're not saying it's happening now, are you? Garrett sitting in that throne room and people presenting petitions, bringing disputes.
There is a ceremony, yes.
Oh, you're joking.
It's not important, Jeff. It's like... well, maybe like the Lord Mayor's procession in London. That isn't important either. Doesn't mean anything, but it's there, and people go and cheer.
And the wolves?
That I don't know about. Your guess is as good as mine. You know about Grapenose Point and the wolves. You know about the beliefs. Superstitions, if you like, about how they protect us.
Yes, but surely that's all...
Well, recently, people have heard them.
So have I. I think I have.
Well, there you are. Look, Jeff, if they're there, then they're there. If not, not. They're part of the island, part of the whole thing.
And the heavies?
Don't understand.
Howard Edwards, Teddy Mason.
Newcomers, yes. People who've moved in recently. They'll fit in eventually.
Oh, they seem to be under Garrett's orders.
No.
Well, that's the way it looks to me. That hangar on the beach. Do you know what's in there?
Government property, been told. Something to do with defense, I reckon.
There's a mock-up of an oil rig inside.
Mock-up?
A model. A full-scale model. I was told it was for training men going out to the rig.
Makes sense.
Does it? All right. But why the secrecy?
What secrecy?
I was warned off.
Oh, you know bureaucracy. I run a pub, I know
I
it.
was forcibly warned off, Jake. By Edwards and Mason.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. It was Garrett who calmed them down. They obeyed his orders.
Well, it's as I say. Mr. Garrett's a sort of titular head of the community.
So, it was him who ordered them to search my house, then?
Search your house? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm sure you don't. Jake, show me around, will you?
What?
There's things I've got to find out. Please, just show me around.
I still like walking over the island.
And me.
There's something timeless about it. That's why it's important for us that it isn't changed, that traditions stay. And that's why a lot of us feel strongly about the oil rigs.
Nothing has changed. That's the point.
Not yet. But who knows? A trickle can become a flood. There's talk of building an oil refining plant here.
Here?
Yes, here on our land.
What's that?
Where?
Up ahead.
I think you'll find it's a dead sheep.
How do you... let's have a look. You're right.
Aye.
What's left of it? I don't like to ask this... The wolves?
Who knows?
Jake?
Aye?
That sheep's been staked. Look, its leg's been tied to a stake.
I know.
What the hell's it
A
all
lot
about?
of people in this island believe...
Are you telling me it's a sacrifice?
In a way. Jeff, it's part of the tradition. Look, perhaps I don't believe, but others do.
Good God, what's that?
The shooting range.
That's another thing that wasn't here when I was a lad.
It's Mr. Garrett. Mainly for his boy.
Yeah, he was telling me. That's another odd thing, isn't it? Teaching his 12-year-old boy to shoot.
Is it?
Well, I find it, sir. Yeah, that's a lot of shooting for one boy. Come on, let's go see. What the hell's going on?
I don't know.
It's Garrett. And there must be at least a dozen men there.
Both hands, Edwards! Use both hands!
They're practicing pistol shooting.
A lot of people have shown an interest in it lately. Fear of the wolves, I suppose.
Who are they?
Oh, you wouldn't know most of them.
Any of them? Are these the people who bought properties in the last year or so?
Most of them, aye.
Better, Mason! Jefferson, watch the recoil!
I want to have a look around tonight.
Tonight?
Everywhere. Including the big house.
What about the wolves?
I'll take the chance. I want to find out what's going on, Jake. It'll be easier with you, but if necessary, I'll go on my own.
Right, Mr. Chambers.
Don't tell Liz.
Hello? Oh, Mr. Davis, how are you? Ralph, yes, of course. Where are you ringing from? Your yacht? All right for some, isn't it? No, I'm afraid he isn't. don't know where he is. About 11:45. Do I? Well, yes, I suppose I am a bit worried. With all those stories. Oh, yes, I'm sure he will be. Oh, all right, Ralph, I'll tell him you rang. Goodbye. Jeff, where are you?
It's very dark. Hey. I used to love walking around at night when I was a kid, imagining pirates. And now...
Now it's different.
Yes.
Are you sure you want to go on with this?
I've got to. I want to know what's going on. It might be innocent, but I want to know. Jake.
Aye?
Have you seen the wolves?
Aye.
You don't sound sure.
It's as other people have said. You see them, and yet you don't. It's almost as if they're keeping in the shadows, watching.
Oh, Jake, that's the whole... That noise could be...
Look, Jeff, I won't pretend. I'm frightened.
Yeah, so am I. If it comes to the worst, there's always trees.
What?
We can shin up a tree.
I wouldn't mind shinning up one now.
Just keep going.
You're the boss.
All right, Jake. Keep very quiet.
I am. It's my heart you can hear.
Right. Just over this dune, I will be able to see down into the cove. Careful. Oh, God.
What?
On the beach.
Aye, I can see.
What are they doing?
Is that the mock rig you were talking about?
That's right, only it's floating out in the bay now.
And the floodlights are on.
Yeah, those men in the boats, approaching the rig, what are they doing?
Can't see.
Dressed in black. Balaclava helmets. It's as if they're camouflaged.
Jeff.
There's no mistaking that.
I'm not staying here.
Yeah, come on.
Hold it. No, come on.
Wait. I don't know where I am. Is this the right direction?
Yes. No.
Wait. Listen.
What?
They've stopped.
Quiet.
What the...
Oh, God.
Come on, Jake. Quick.
Jeff? Is that you?
Keep quiet.
Jeff, what it...
I won't hurt you. Don't cry out. Okay? I won't hurt you now. Do as you are told.
What do you want?
Don't say anything. I'll put on the light. Oh, are you decent?
Yes. Oh!
Yes, I do look a bit like Ben Gunn, I'm afraid, don't I?
What do you want?
Nothing. Keep still.
You can't just come in here and...
I won't hurt you. Just keep still.
What do you want?
Where's your husband? Where's your husband?
Downstairs.
No, he's not. I know he's not in the house. Look, I have no intention of hurting you. Just lie there and keep still. Now, where's your husband?
I honestly don't know.
When will he be back?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
Just sit here and wait, Mrs. Chambers.
They're getting closer.
How much further? Come on. How much further?
Nearly there. Keep going. Thank God for that.
Say that again. Jake, did you notice something?
Aye, quite a lot. Main thing I noticed was we were being chased by wolves.
No, the fact that as we got closer to the village, to civilization, if you like, they seemed to fall back. Almost as if...
As if they were chasing us back.
Yes. Or away. Away from something else.
Please put that knife away, please.
It's all right, Mrs. Chambers. I'm not mad. Just look it.
Then put the knife away.
No, I'm taking no chances, none at all. I've taken too many already. Whether you like it or not, I'm staying here until your husband comes back.
Oh, Jeff!
Don't move.
Liz!
Please don't.
Liz, I'm sorry.
Hello, Jeff.
What are you doing?
No harm is going to come to either of you.
Tell him to take the knife from my throat.
Don't move, Liz.
No harm.
Who are you?
You recognize me, Jeff. Duncan Hay.
Duncan? What are you doing?
One question. Whose side are you on?
I don't understand.
Are you with Garrett?
With him up? I hardly know him. I'm just here to manage the place. I know nothing.
I believe you.
It's true.
If I give you this knife, will you let me sit down and talk to you?
Of course.
Right. Catch.
Yes.
It's made of wood. Not bad, is it?
Oh, God. Jeff!
It's all right, love. You didn't have to frighten Liz like that.
I'm deeply sorry for that, really. But there was no other way.
It's all right. As long as Liz is okay. It's all right, my love. It's okay. This is Duncan Hay.
The man we went to see yesterday.
That's right. A man whose house
was taken from him, yes.
That man, Edwards, who was there.
Tall fellow. Toffee-nosed accent.
Yes, that's right.
Know him, do you?
Met him, that's all. He said he'd bought it from you.
He did, but it was still taken from me nonetheless.
What is this, Duncan? You look...
I've been kept prisoner.
By whom?
James Garrett.
Well, why?
Something to do with not being willing to sell out.
I knew you wouldn't.
Yes, you said he'd never have sold out, that Grapenose Point was his life.
And so it is.
Tell me about it, Duncan.
It all started about 18 months ago. Various people sold out to strangers, newcomers. Oh, all right, it happens every now and then, but not as many as this. I mean, what with them and the oil riggers spending so much time here, well, the place was...
Go on.
Anyway, I was approached by this man, Edwards. I refused, so he upped the offer. Did it a few times, and then... Oh, it was like, well, what you hear of police states. A knock in the early hours, escorted away, made to sign a bill of sale.
Made?
Yes, made. And then shoved in a dungeon.
Seriously?
Yes, that place has a dungeon.
What place?
The big house.
Do you know why he kept you there?
All I know is what I've told you. Except I hear howling, baying at night.
People say the wolves have come back.
Do you believe that?
God knows.
So now you understand how important it was for me to find out whose side you are on.
I do indeed. What the hell is going on?
That's a good question.
How did you escape?
Oh, on exercise. Yes, they've treated me reasonably well. Almost as a prisoner of war. I've been a model prisoner since I started. Never given any trouble, as they say. So the fellow who was guarding me on exercise got a bit lax and...
Duncan, do you remember Angus?
Oh, McClendon?
Yeah.
Of course I do. He actually did sell out, left for London. Oh, so we are led to believe.
Yeah, he did. I saw him there. He turned up at the flat before we left. He gave me this.
Well, well. The wolf's head.
What is that?
Oh, it's a very old traditional thing. A sort of warning.
Warning?
Yes. Keep out, or else.
Why didn't you tell me, Jeff?
Well, like I said, I thought it was some sort of a joke. From Ralph, perhaps. Duncan, I'm going up to the big house.
Jeff.
I've got to find out what's going on.
Not now, not tonight.
Look, whatever it is, it's going to be very soon.
Another reason for us not to hang about. So stay here with us tonight, Duncan. And tomorrow, you and Jake and I are going for a walk. Hello.
Jake, over here. Sorry it took so long. I had to be sure.
It's all right. Duncan's been telling me more about the layout of the big house.
As much as I could remember.
Anyway, Jake, is everything all right?
Aye, they're all there at the range, practicing pistol shooting.
Okay. Duncan, you'd better stay here till we get back. Keep out of sight.
Don't worry. I'll be all right.
Okay, Jake. Let's see if we can find out what they're at. We won't get in this way.
No. Jeff, I imagine it'll all be like this.
No. Look,
There's a door over here. It's only an outbuilding, Jeff. It's attached to the house. And the door's open.
That smell. It's the one you can smell faintly inside. As I said to Liz, like the doghouse. Jake, there are pens over there.
Empty. Haven't been used.
Yes, they have. Even a city dweller like me can tell that animals are kept here regularly.
Livestock could be.
Then, Edward, what happened?
They're back.
Quiet. I thought you said they were at the range.
They were. They must have gone.
Well, Mason, 1 minute he was there, next minute he was gone.
Why didn't you tell me yesterday? Why wait till today?
Thought we could find him ourselves.
I reckon Chambers might know something about it, so we searched this place.
I see. Still, no harm done. Hayes not a problem now, is he?
No, Mr. Garrett.
He should have listened to us, shouldn't he? Should have realized that nothing's going to stop me.
Yes.
I don't want any more slip-ups. Not now. Not now we're nearly there. This time tomorrow and it'll be all over.
Right, Mr. Garrett.
Right. So no mistakes this time.
What was all that?
Don't know.
This time tomorrow, and it'll be all over. What'll be all over?
Could be anything.
Come on. Let's see if Duncan's got any ideas.
Where is he?
Duncan!
This is where we left him, isn't it?
Duncan! Duncan, hey!
Duncan!
Duncan, where are you?
Have a look around.
Duncan!
Oh, God.
What?
Over here. Beside this rock.
Oh.
It's been ripped to pieces.
The wolves.
Oh, God. They knew about this. What did Garrett say? Hayes not a problem now, is he?
These are wolves, Jack. You can see.
Wolves that are penned up at the big house. But weren't there just now. Oh, they knew all right. Right, Jake. This is as far as it goes. Now we do bring in outsiders. This is murder.
Dearly beloved, many of you in the past weeks have approached me for guidance and help. You are concerned, unsure, and yes, perhaps fearful. Why has God chosen this island to manifest his will, you ask? And my answer, without irony, is why not? He moves in mysterious ways his wonders to perform. Why not, my brethren, choose this island to show disapproval of the godlessness that his world has descended to? And why not use his creatures to demonstrate this disapproval? Look above you, and you will see that from time immemorial, the wolf has been the outward manifestation of God's concern for his people. So, my children, stay in your houses at night. Read, pray, and observe the word of the Lord.
Right, Jake. I'll just get Liz and we're off. Liz!
It'll take time to get some packing done.
I'm not waiting for that. I'm not waiting for anything. The causeway's clear for what? Another hour and a half?
Yes, it should be all right.
Liz! Liz! She's not here.
Look, there's a note on the table.
Oh, yes. This isn't her writing. Oh, no. Read it, Jake.
Just do your job quietly for the next 24 hours and no one will be hurt. Believe me, that's the only way you'll see your wife alive again. 24 hours. What does that mean?
Ties in with what we've just heard. A couple of days and it's all over. Whatever it is, I'm going to find out.
Better do as they say.
I'm not going to leave Liz.
Jeff.
I'm not. I want to meet the islanders we know can be trusted. I want them upstairs at the pub in half an hour, right?
All right, if you say so.
Quiet! We must keep quiet. You all know who I am and why I'm here. You also know that strange things have been happening here for the last few months. Not least the wolves.
They're the result, not the cause.
The result? Of what?
Of what's been happening here.
They protected the island in the past.
And now that we need protection again, they're back.
I don't believe that for
No,
one moment.
that's right. Reverend Barkworth says
Quiet.
that the...
Let's have quiet, please. Now listen to Mr. Chambers.
He can't come here and tell us
I
all
know of the history and the traditions of Grapenose Point. I was virtually brought up here, remember? But there are things I must tell you. Things you don't know. You all remember Duncan Hay, don't you? That's right. Sold up 6 months ago, left, never said goodbye. Surprised a lot of you, that. But he didn't leave. He's been held prisoner at the big house. It's true.
So where is he now, then?
Duncan Hay is dead. His body's out there, ripped to pieces.
The wolves?
Yes. Or some other animal.
So you do believe it, then?
Oh, I believe the wolves are back. What I don't believe is that they're God's visitation or anything else.
You've got to be
Especially when I saw the animal pens at the big house. And there's one more thing. You all know my wife, Liz. When I got back tonight, I found that she'd gone. And this note, left behind, telling me that I'd only see her alive again if I stopped trying to find out what's going on.
Is that genuine?
Tell them, Jake.
Is it?
That's the note we found,
What are you going to do?
I'm going to find out what's happened to my wife. I want a couple of volunteers.
I won't go outside the village at night.
Nor me.
No, sorry.
All right. One man, then. To go over the causeway and tell the police what I just told you. Anyone?
Willie.
I'll go.
Good man. Jake, are you with me for the big house?
Are you quite sure that
I'm going. With or without you.
All right.
You can't possibly hold me here against my will.
You wouldn't like to have a bet on that, would you?
There are laws, you know.
The laws of the mainland do not apply to Grapenose Point.
Nonsense.
They never have, and they never will.
Perhaps 200 years ago, yes,
Grapenose
but...
Point is of itself.
So it seems. All right, so why do you want me here?
I need to buy your husband's good behavior.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
He's been... how shall I put it? Investigating too closely into affairs that don't concern him.
Everything about Grapenose Point concerns him.
He obviously thinks so, yes. Which is why I need to buy his cooperation. Just for a short while. This time tomorrow it'll be all over.
What will?
The kingdom of Grapenose Point, Mrs. Chambers, will return, amid the rejoicing of its inhabitants, to its former state.
It's open.
Hey.
Very security conscious.
Just sure of himself, perhaps.
Oh, with good reason, eh? Looks like the kitchen.
Aye.
Big enough.
Used to have a large household in those days, by Grapenose Point standards anyway.
So it seems. Come on. Look at the size of this room.
Aye. Once upon a time, this place...
This way and quietly. I think they're in there.
Are you sure we're doing the right thing?
Of course.
The note did say no problems if you behave.
I'm not going to leave Liz with anyone.
You're certain?
Yes.
Then perhaps we'd better go in, Mr. Chambers.
What?
In you go.
Help! Sorry, Mr. Garrett. I tried.
Liz, are you all right?
Yes, I am.
She's fine. Bless her, I did tell you.
I know, but he insisted.
What's going on, Jeff?
It looks like one of the things that's going on is that Jake's led us up the garden path.
I did try to make you change your mind.
Yes, you did. I'll give you that. Garrett, is everyone on the island in on whatever it is you're up to?
Aye, we are. Because everyone in the island wants it to return to what it was before. A haven of peace and sanity and order. And the people that wanted to change it were kept out.
What exactly does that mean?
You should listen, Jeff. It's interesting.
This island is unique.
I know that.
Listen.
An island open to the outside world for just a few hours every day, and then closed again. The people, the inhabitants, isolated against the outside world, isolated against the inanities of the outside.
It wasn't like that.
It was. A little kingdom, a tiny principality, a small secure bastion. That was Grapenose Point. A smallish community under its leaders, its secular leader and its religious leader. An ordered life, with the laird here in the big house, the priest in his church, and the people toiling in their fields, in their workshops, and living in their cottages.
You're talking about feudalism.
Words, that's all.
Semantics, Mr. Chambers.
No. Don't you see? Grapenose Point wasn't so special. In those days, the whole country was feudal.
A world untouched by the pollution outside. It was a world of security, of certainty. And then, as if to protect it, came the wolves.
Did you know that the last wolf was killed in Scotland in 1743?
No, I didn't.
By a hunter called McQueen. Did you know that?
Is that right?
No, it's not right. Tell him, Jake.
That's what history thinks. What's recorded. In actual fact, the wolves, one pack of them, some years before that date, driven by fear, crossed the causeway onto Grapenose Point and never returned to the mainland.
But why don't people know about this?
Because Grapenose Point was cut off from the outside world. Communications were non-existent in those days. Hardly anyone knew of the existence of Grapenose Point, let alone the wolves.
So what happened to them?
That we don't know. There's no record of them dying out or being killed.
Perhaps they were there all the time.
Oh. Perhaps. Ready to reappear when Grapenose Point needed them.
Oh, come on.
That's nonsense.
Is it? Coincidence, perhaps, that they reappear now at the time of the kingdom's greatest need.
And what's that?
Never before has Grapenose Point been threatened as it is today.
By what?
First, the rigs. Then an oil refinery plant. Then tankers. Then everything destroyed. Right, Mr. Garrett?
Right.
All right. But the wolves, Jake, they didn't just appear or come out of hibernation. They've been brought in, deliberately brought in. Those pens outside...
It doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is what happens here.
Right again. That's why I came back. To return Grapenose Point to its former state. Right. In you go.
In there?
It's all right. It's quite habitable.
What are you going to do? I mean, it's all going to happen in the next few hours, isn't it?
That's right.
So what is it that's all going to happen?
Grapenose Point is going to invade and conquer an oil rig.
You're going to do what?
It's quite simple. We board and take control of an oil rig, and then tell the world that if they don't leave us alone, we'll blow it up.
I don't believe it.
Doesn't really matter too much what you believe.
Oh, God.
Jake.
It's all right. I'll see to them.
Give me the gun.
Yes, sir.
What was that?
The walls. Their pen is just the other side of the wall.
Of course. So it is. All right, Garrett. Tell us what's happening. You don't believe all that stuff Jake told us, do you?
I didn't. But I do now. I realize now how corrupted we've all become. The pollution of the earth becomes the pollution of the mind.
Tell me about it.
I was trained in electronics. Not important, but I was very good at it. I came up with a scheme that saved solar energy to help irrigate the Sahara.
Really?
Yes, really. I'd explain it to you, only you wouldn't understand. But the people in UNO did. They were interested. Sent me out there to investigate the possibilities.
What happened?
No country was willing to provide the money. All they were concerned about was profit for themselves. Mr. Chambers, I could have saved Africa with that scheme. Eventually, perhaps the world. And only I could have brought it to fruition.
I see.
So I left. You can understand, I'm sure, that I felt a certain bitterness towards the powers that wouldn't listen. I wanted to get my own back.
Prove that you knew better.
I do know better! And then, by accident... No, it must have been more than that. I came to Grapenose Point. My wife had left me, you see. She didn't understand either. And Jamie and I were on holiday, driving through Scotland. Destiny took me over the causeway to Grapenose Point.
Destiny?
I know that now. I saw that portrait.
Are you really descended from that laird?
Oh, that's not important.
So all you did was come here and buy the big house?
Exactly. But seeing that portrait suddenly made the whole thing come clear to me.
How to get your own back.
How to make them pay. After all they could think about was money.
So what are you going to do now?
Exactly as I told you. Only instead of telling the world we will blow up a rig, we actually do it.
Just to preserve your isolation?
Yes. Originally, as I've told you, it was for money. See what I mean about the pollution of the mind? The idea came to me after I'd seen that portrait, heard about the legends of the wolves, and realized how uneasy the islanders felt about the oil rigs. There was a handful who obviously weren't going to be persuaded, so, well, simple. We just bought them out.
Except Duncan Hay.
Except Duncan Hay. After all, my men would need somewhere to live while they trained, and I was getting it all set up. It was surprisingly easy. By and large, the islanders wanted what I was offering, what I was telling them. Grapenose Point returned to its former state.
And the wolves?
I needed a means of keeping the islanders quietly at home during the night, especially in these later stages while the men were training on the mock-up rig. And what could be better than to use this superstitious nonsense about the wolves? So I had a couple brought in. They're penned, as you know, the other side of the wall.
You let them out at night?
Oh, no. Too dangerous. Except when a sacrifice that's been left out has to be seen to.
Or Duncan Hay.
Or Duncan Hay.
I heard those wolves chasing me when Jake and I were...
Tape recorders and loudspeakers around the island. Sorry, as simple as that.
Very realistic.
It is, isn't it? As I told you, I was trained in electronics. So, there we were, progressing very nicely, when you two turned up, just 2 or 3 days before the off. Very inconvenient.
So, what's going to happen?
Tonight, my men, the ones you saw training, will board a rig, overpower the men on board, set the explosives, and depart. Or so they think.
And what does that mean?
They don't know it, but the bombs will go off the second they're set. Easier that way. No complications, no chances of anything going wrong. But don't look so concerned. They're only mercenaries. 2 hours later, a second party will board another rig, and in exactly the same way, blow that up. And that should do it.
Just the two?
I think that'll be enough, don't you? As long as they believe I'm capable of blowing a rig up at regular intervals.
You're mad.
No. Perhaps I was, but not anymore. Then it was just revenge. Now I can realize my potential. My destiny, if you like. This is my island. My people. My kingdom. I'm going to preserve it.
Become a feudal lord.
What I do tonight will make them, all of them, keep away. Keep their filth away.
What you mean is that here on this tiny island, with its tiny population, you can get the power you've always wanted. That's what you mean, isn't it?
All right, calm down. Your job's done. You've served Grapenose Point well. In fact, you might have served it in more ways than you think.
Jeff, can he get away with this?
The trouble is, he thinks he can. By the time he finds out that he can't, he'll have blown up 2 rigs and killed God knows how many people. What's that?
What? Oh.
Jeff?
What do you want?
When I went to quieten the wolves, I could hear what Garrett said to you. Jeff, I've never heard him talk like that. I believed in what he wanted to do. I didn't know he was really going to blow up the rigs. I only wanted what was best for the island.
Tell that to Duncan Hay.
I didn't know they were going to kill him, believe me. Even so...
You'd have sacrificed him to the great ideal.
Aye.
And so would he.
You're all mad.
Madness, Mrs. Chambers, has been defined as someone different from the norm. Wanting to preserve our sanity could then, I suppose, be described as madness. As for Duncan, perhaps I'll be able to avenge him. Meanwhile, Jeff, see what you can do to stop Garrett.
Jake, the wolf's head. That's your idea.
I told Mr. Garrett that as you were virtually an inhabitant, you'd know the significance.
Instead, I thought it was a joke. Some joke.
Everything set?
Yes, Mr. Garrett.
Everything all right here, sir?
Right. Off you go, then. Good luck.
Goodbye.
Right, my beauties. Now's the time for you really to do something for Grapenose Point.
So what do we do?
Get back to the village as quickly as possible. With a bit of luck, Willie will be back before too long with the police.
Jeff coming from the village, look.
All the villagers, yes. Oh, no.
Willie's with them.
Didn't go. They really are indoctrinated, aren't they?
They're spreading out. What are they doing?
If I have 3 guesses, I'd say looking for us. There's only one thing for it.
The causeway.
Yes.
There's the notice board.
Right, let's see what the tide's doing. What's the time?
25 to 9.
Hell, we've got 10 minutes and the causeway's 1.5 miles.
Can we do it?
I'll certainly find out how fit I am, won't I?
And me.
No!
Don't argue, Jeff. We're wasting time.
Right then, it's Olympic record-breaking time.
Stay there.
What?
It's Garrett's little boy.
Not so little, Mrs. Chambers. And as I'm sure your husband will tell you, a crack shot.
What do you want?
To keep you here for 20 minutes. By then, the causeway will be impassable.
Did your father put you up to this?
He told me not to let anyone off the island, and that's what I'm doing.
Jamie, don't you know what your father's doing?
Yes?
Really doing?
Of course. And I'll be heir to the Laird of Grapenose Point.
Well, they're off.
Yes, Reverend. They're off. The island will soon be ours.
Ours and God's.
Oh, yes, of course. Ours and God's.
If your father gets away with it, not only will the men on the rigs die, but so will the men working for him. Jamie, nothing can be worth that slaughter.
My father thinks so.
I can't believe that you're...
What did you do?
Straight left.
Will you be all right?
Unfortunately, yes. We're going to have to be quicker still over the causeway, though. Come on.
The water's around my ankles, Jeff.
Keep going. Come on, keep going. How are you doing?
I can't. The current's so fast. How much further?
Another quarter of a mile at least. Look, there's one of those safety towers. Look, just ahead. Can you make it to there?
I think so.
Right. Get up there. I've got to get to the mainland.
We'll never make it. The current.
Liz, get up there. Oh, God. I have to start swimming. Oh, the current.
What do you think? Would he get away with it? Couldn't care less, Squire. Long as I get paid.
Too true.
Cool 5,000 each, then away.
And me.
Where the living's easy.
And as far as possible from that nut Garrett.
You and me both, Sunshine. You and me both.
That's a terrible sound.
God knows why Lesser put the tape on. Didn't ask for it.
Like the cry of the damned.
No wonder the villagers never went out at night.
The wind is blowing up.
Getting quite strong.
There's not a lot out tonight, is there?
As far as I know, not a thing.
Anyway, your deal, Stan.
Right.
My God, what's happened to you?
Silly question, I know. Could I use your phone, please?
Sooner I get back, the better.
And me.
My God.
Good recordings, aren't they?
There's rustling, Garrett. In the bushes.
All part of the sound effects.
I can see eyes.
Imagination.
Garrett!
In The Wolves of Grapenose Point by David Hopkins, Liz was played by Heather Bell and Jeff by Peter Wickham. Rolf Landstrom was John Green, Howard Edwards, Adrian Egan, Kyle Johnson, Rod Beecham, and James Garrett, Russell Dixon. Willie Humphreys was played by John Graham, Ada Humphreys by Jennifer Piercy, Ralph Davis, Henry Knowles, Jake Lesser, Joe Dunlop, and the Reverend Barkworth by Jonathan Scott. Angus was Fraser Carr, Duncan, Ronald Herdman, and Tom Lewis, Donald Bissett. Teddy Mason and the Customer were played by Gregory DePaulney, Jamie by Gene Rogers, and the Coast Guards by Fraser Carr and Ronald Herdman. The play was directed by Kay Patrick.